Hello and welcome to Paradox Does Deja Vu. We filmed this earlier and guess what? It messed up in a big bad way. However, this is our saviour, the man whose opinions usually ruin things, is the hero of this particular reaction video and discussion where we're going to break down a couple of things we've seen. Not as in depth as we did last time because the editing killed me, but we'll have a little banter around about it and throw some things out here. You've managed to dodge the big spoiler of this.
I was told... Here's the strange thing. Here's the funny part, actually.
Oh, the fun part?
The funny part. The one thing... I've done this entire trailer, but just before you sent it to me, J.K. Rowling retweeted something saying, how long have you kept that Nagini thing a secret? And she was like, for 20 years. And if it's what I think it is, we called that ages ago, so it's not too much of a spoiler for me. It's just a nice way of going, cool, that's happening. You're actually upset.
By the way, Jack, does this mean I'm off the hook for watching the trailer now?
Never. Alright, let's just get into it. Fantastic Beasts 2, trailer 3. Let's hit that.
The final
hit
trailer.
Hit that button.
Yep.
Right.
Address. What's that? A safe house in Paris. Why would I need a safe house in Paris? Should things at some point go terribly wrong, it's good to have a place to go. You know, for a cup of tea. My brothers, my sisters, the clock is ticking fast. My dream, we who live for truth, for love. The moment has come to take our rightful place in the world where we wizards were free. Join me or die.
The wizarding and non-wizarding worlds have been at peace for over a century. Grindelwald wants to see that peace destroyed.
You want me to hunt him down? To kill him? Dumbledore, why can't you go?
I can't move against Grindelwald. It has to be you.
You don't suffer from motion sickness, do you? I don't do well on boats. You'll be fine.
Still funny.
Do you know why I admire you, Nick? You do not seek power. You simply ask, is the thing right? The time's coming when you're going to have to pick a side.
No, I don't do sides.
What are you going to do?
I'll do something.
You never met a monster you couldn't love.
Let's take it.
That's her brother?
I think that might have been the best moment of my life.
Pause that shit just in case it runs into the next one. But,
Yeah.
well, how are we feeling?
So it's nice that we get to see another country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you think it's the country I'm talking about.
Oh.
So we've got England.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Paris.
Yes.
do we have England? Yes, yeah, I
Yes,
guess we do.
we
Yeah,
see
sure.
Hogwarts.
So we also have London.
I mean, that's
There's
Scotland,
a-
so...
Scotland.
And
think
so
we see
is the
London.
Kelpie. The Kelpie he's riding is at Loch Ness.
Yes.
So I saw that. And
I
there was
thought that was the Black Lake.
No, it's like it's Loch Ness, the most famous Kelpie according to the book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which you have to read first year.
I
It
have
mentions
your
the fact
copy
that
of it.
it mentions the fact that can I get that back at some point? It mentions the fact that the largest Kelpie in the British Isles
Yes.
is currently in Loch Ness, and occasionally shows up and
But-
bunts of muggles because it can.
Yeah, but in the trailer, it's young Newt, which is why I think it's the Black Lake.
Could possibly be, but
I mean-
I don't know why it'd be the Black Lake because it's going to really have to fight with that fucking squid.
Maybe they
How
get
long's
on.
the squid been there?
Yeah, how long's the squid been?
I
there?
reckon the squid has been there since the dawn of time. I reckon genuinely, all the Hogwarts founders sat down and Ravenclaw was like, we'll think this thing out, I'm going to make a really cool library. Slytherin was like, yeah, I'm going to have a dungeon. Gryffindor was like, we're going to climb to the highest tower, and Hufflepuff was like, guys, I got a free squid off eBay. You know when you know
This
Wish?
is why you're not allowed opinions, remember?
You know Wish? You know the site Wish, when you
Yeah, that's
order
why-
stuff really cheaply and it doesn't expect what to be. That's where the squid came
The
from.
magical squid. The
That
magical
clap was
squid
probably
is
really
really
good.
good.
last time we
moving
had
past that,
this discussion, I think you said when
you
we had this.
called it
No, I
earlier.
think what happened was you didn't think it was true
I didn't think it was true, but
because it seems too easy, doesn't it?
okay, we're talking about the fact that Nagini's some random Chinese woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. It had to make sense because it was the only way Voldemort could. He can't inhabit animals, so Nagini had to be something different. If you can't inhabit animals, how the hell are you going to put a fragment of your soul in it?
It does.
He
Yeah.
said
also-
he could inhabit snakes,
He could inhabit snakes easier
and for longer.
and for longer. They still died, and he's had Nagini for a fair bit.
Yes, but he wasn't inhabiting her for a long time.
But he's got
So-
a bit of his soul in her, and I'm pretty sure that would help her expire faster if she wasn't human before, human after.
I would have said because he had the bit of soul in her, it would extend her lifespan.
No, because it's forcing. You have to put something beyond. You have to put a piece of your soul to destroy a Horcrux. You have to put it beyond magical repair.
Mhm.
So you have to put it in an item specifically. Putting it in humans has very annoying adverse effects, a la Mr. Potter. And if
But
you,
if anything, wouldn't you say it strengthened him because he suddenly had more magical ability, such as Parseltongue, and the objects
being
that you put them
being
in-
able to Google translate what a snake's saying isn't really an ability.
But it is an additional magical ability. I can't speak. And the objects that you put Horcruxes in then become indestructible. Therefore, surely, if you put a piece of your soul into a living thing, that makes it stronger.
No, because as Hermione said, if she takes the sword and runs it through Ron, the soul's fine. Why are you doing this? I don't care. I am going for this. I am not.
We are diversing massively,
No!
and we need to stop.
Yeah,
I
okay.
really liked the video we did that you're never going to see.
I know, we did a really good one.
If there's
Without
some audio-
him.
If there's some audio I can save, I will run it because our first reaction we had from this.
Yeah.
Okay, realistically, I felt quite hyped to see the trailer. It's nice to see Jacob again being Jacob.
We like Jacob. He's our
Newt's
favourite.
kind of a bit more interesting. My one thing is, this looks like it's going to be a fight against Grindelwald. So what are they going to do for the other three movies?
That's that's the conversation we've had, which we'll touch on in a moment. But I would like to say, I'm now of your mind that you said to me earlier. You said, I think the safe house. I think it was one of you two. You guys said.
So say it was Flamel.
And I
Could it be
think
Empress
it
Flamel?
is because of the line Dumbledore says in the trailer. He says, "You go there for a cup of tea," and then we later see in the trailer Nicholas Flamel is holding a cup of tea. I think.
Is he?
I think in the last trailer, we see Nicholas Flamel in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think you
Talking
see him
to
holding
Jacob,
tea.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense. By the way, I just want to talk to you. Actually, we now see the man who's replaced me. Well, not replaced me because I never had the role, but the role I applied for, the man who got the job. Do you know who it was?
Is it the one in the mirror?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the guy who played him in the Deathly Hallows. And it's kind of like, well, if you're just going to cast the same guy, why did you put out a casting for?
The thing is, if you're just going to cast the same guy, why have you got Johnny Depp looking like a mentalist?
It's a younger version of Grindelwald.
Yeah,
But
but at the
if
same
you-
time, there he looks normal, there he doesn't, and then there he
You've
looks
got
like...
the eyes
Sorry,
and the hair.
We should
kind
probably
of.
also mention we've got the trailer back on again. I'll have a look
I
over it.
muted it and then I'm kind of
We'll
going
run
through
some
the
shots
screenshots.
of it.
Yeah.
So I was also talking off camera. I was saying we know from a young age that Voldemort could speak to snakes. Now I'm of the mind that it's pretty much confirmed that you're going to see Voldemort and Hagrid during that time at Hogwarts where Myrtle dies. I feel like that's confirmed for, I would say, even the next film.
I hope it is, but part of me's like, it needs to be according to canon, and Dumbledore looks a lot older in that, but at the same time, Jude Law doesn't look that old.
Well, no, because there's going to be time skips. There will be big time
This
skips.
is
for this one, I think.
only. This is the 30s still.
Yeah,
This is 30.
I think this is...
Actually, no.
This is
no.
29. This is 29.
This is the 20s.
So I think the idea that I would like is that Nagini is a childhood friend of Voldemort, because we see, Dumbledore visits him and he says, I can speak to snakes and I can make them hurt if I want to, and that I think is because J.K. Rowling came out and she said, I forgot the word for what they called. Maledictus. So they're not born evil. And
They're
I think
born
when
with a
she's
blood
saying
curse.
that, I think she's saying that because I think in the world, just like the Obscurus and things of that nature, that they can be perceived as evil. And then, like, if everyone's telling you you're an evil, whatever the heck, then you might go into it. And, she turns into a snake and might end up at Wolves Orphanage, chats to Voldemort, and they become child bodies, which would also explain why Voldemort is so fond of her and cuts her so much slack. Because I know he likes snakes, but I think he must know.
He's super.
He
He's super
genuinely cares.
Lethal Lestrange is looking a bit too Lethalicious.
Like, he gave her some of his soul, and I think that there is, I think there's something to that. I feel like that was the first snake he ever spoke to.
Go back. There.
This is why the last video would have been better.
Yeah.
I think that's the first snake he spoke to, and then that's why he keeps her around. And they kind of
So
get on.
now I have to ask you another question. Where does Credence fit into this?
Well, that's the problem, because there's so much going on. And I also agree with you earlier when you said that the guy narrating the trailer was the guy from later. I do hear that now.
So,
Here's the factions we have. We have Newt and his posse,
Newton Mandem.
Grindelwald, the Americans possibly,
Yeah.
Theseus.
Why do you say Theseus?
Because that's how it's pronounced.
Is it actually?
that's
I
how it's
know
actually pronounced.
We've got a
Theseus.
body called Theseus.
We have a bud. Yeah, I'll get
And,
his name just so you can check it.
Then you have the Auras, and you have Credence, and now confirmed Nagini. So
So
there's
we
a lot
know-
of factions going on, and I wonder how they are all going to play in. But to answer your next question, like I said in the last video, I think it would be better if instead of having these 5 movies, if you have 1, 2, 3, sure, and then 4 and 5,
Exactly.
make it one story that's split. Because I don't know how you can go 5 movies like this,
Yeah.
unless this is going to be in that tiny franchise. Because we're seeing so much, we're learning so much and nothing. I would have liked it if we learned Nagini in the film. I think that would have been crazier. Seeing that in a film, there's a problem with trailers these days. They do too much
Do
of
you
that.
think they dropped it because there was so many people had already basically guessed it?
No, I just think it's the curse of selling things these days. Because-
They dropped a lot of the
Yeah,
spoilers.
like if you look at anything else, like George R. R. Martin, that R plus L equals J, that was a huge, ginormous theory for over 10 years or whatever the hell.
And it was true.
Exactly, but he never went out and just dropped it in a trailer or
No.
even Game of Thrones, and they, small hints like you see the tower and stuff, but never did they just do that. And there's been Harry Potter theories since before the last book came out, and theories were confirmed or denied and yada yada yada, but never did J.K. Rowling just go on Twitter and go, yes, this is a thing.
Except that time when
That's
she
the
said
thing.
Dumbledore was gay.
That's not really a big plot device though. That's not doesn't change story, doesn't change anything. I'm talking about big, huge plot devices. And I think you can take a lot from the Star Wars trailers when you look at this, because you do have some subtle things, like Luke saying it's time for the Jedi to end, but that doesn't counter into the fact that if you look at that trailer and then you watch The Last Jedi, you don't really learn a damn thing from it. Whereas the problem with a lot of these trailers these days is
I think a good
do.
example, actually,
Yeah.
a good example of a trailer spoiling the film, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Everything that happened in that movie happened in the trailer. There were no spoilers. They ruined the big twist because, like, the first trailer looked really good because it didn't let on. It was just like we're going to free dinosaurs because it's exploded, and then they revealed that they were all kidnapped. And it's just like everything. That scene with the dinosaur going into the girl's bedroom is in its entirety in the trailer. It's just chopped up and spliced.
yeah.
That's a good example of Hollywood kind of ruining their
Yeah.
own movies with putting too much in the trailers.
They did that with Terminator Genesis as well. I was really excited to
Yeah.
see that until they were like, "Oh, here's the big twist," and I
It's
was
kind of like
I think we're lucky with this film in as much as
I don't think-
sure you can take the Nagini surprise as you will and say you would have preferred it in the trailer, you would have preferred it in this. You can understand it from a marketing point of view, but when you look at these trailers, it is quite easy to say, "I've got no idea what's going on," which is
No.
quite happy. Like you understand the gist of the story is we're going after Grindelwald, and apart from that, all you can do is guess. And you can take logic of things you already know about the universe and put them together, but you don't actually know. I mean, you can see the crypt scene, I always say is the end, and I'll say the film probably starts with escape. But other than that, everything in the middle section, you've got no idea. We know how Jake was back. We don't know if his memory's back. Where he's reintroduced himself, we don't know. Like, these
we
are
don't know
all
how
good
he and
things.
Newt met up again.
Yeah, there's still something.
So,
Judging,
you know.
I have a good
Have you,
theory.
have you seen the posters, actually, they've just released?
No.
So there's a load of posters which you guys may be aware of. You will probably flash some off, actually. Yeah. And the posters are really cool because they're just their character headshots, they are. And they've got the names. And then underneath they've got like taglines for each of them. And the taglines are really good because I think we were having really good discussion earlier. And it was like raising so many questions. So both the trailer and the posters together haven't made.
Searching for those posters.
So we get that one. We get that one answer
Thank
with,
you.
"Oh yeah, she's Nagini," but I think both the trailer and the posters have in fact created more questions than answered anything.
Which is
So
good.
I'll show you these posters.
So
We have Nagini aiding a fugitive, which presumably Credence.
yeah, weird.
You have Theseus
Skimindi.
under ministry orders.
When you say, I remember when you said about the factions, wouldn't he be with Ministry because
Yeah.
he is an
Yeah,
Aura?
totally. Horus, yeah.
Is he the head aura?
No.
We don't know, but he's a warrior, so it's probably highly
Yeah.
respected. And this is a controversial one. Lita Lestrange implicated by prophecy.
Which is currently my most. It's
is
what
the
we're
prophecy?
questioning the most. My personal theory is it's something to
Careful,
do with
because that makes
Bellatrix
it up.
Lestrange later. And I think it's going to be she's mistaken for the person of prophecy, and it's actually Bellatrix years later, and it's something to do with the Dark Lord, and they all think it's Grindelwald.
Is
And in
Cursed Child
fact,
canon? Is Cursed Child confirmed canon?
Yes, it is.
Then it's going to be a prophecy. She will bore the Dark Lord's son, because I've already had that spoiled for me. Spoilers for people who haven't seen or watched Cursed Child, I guess.
Well, it's
However,
it's a
I
difficult
also
one.
want to say one more thing. I reckon that in regards to Jacob getting his memory back, we do see Newt at Makusa. So I reckon, realistically, how strong is a Thunderbird's memory wipe? Because if he acknowledges it was from someone, can he sort of can his memory come back sort of like that? I'm pretty sure
Didn't-
Hollywood's done
Didn't
something
we
daft
say
like
that
that
we'd
before.
seen something with Queenie
At the
and
end
the
of the film.
memories
Yeah.
with the kiss? And
Yeah.
that was the theory that Queenie had sort of safeguarded his memories and then gave them back to
Taking them
him.
out or
Gave them back to him in the
Also-
bakery.
Also, it's meant to be that it was wiping out the bad memories. It's not necessarily bad for Jacob.
Yeah.
See it a lot
And
of
also
good
love.
memories.
J.K.
Yeah.
Rowling loves
Love conquers all.
Which is ironic considering Love's dicked her about a fair few times.
Yeah.
Okay then.
We love
My
JK.
theory is it's something to do with Dumbledore and the reason he can't stand against Grindelwald. I think it's prophecy. I know it's about her, but she could still be relevant to that, because that would then bring Lita into the mix. White has to be Newt into the mix, because as far as White has to be Newt, I think that's a big thing to do with Nagini because he's a magic zoologist, and I think that is going to play into has to be Newt. And it also has to be Newt because Lita's a thing, and Lita made this prophecy about something about how I have to defeat Grindelwald, but I'm not really game to do that yet, so Newt, go have fun.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. I hope that makes somewhat
I
sense.
was going to counter with my own theory. I'm having a thought here, Jack.
Go ahead.
So,
It's an opinion.
as we all know, Dumbledore believes that love is the most powerful magic in the world,
Sure.
and
Yes.
it saves all things. So, if he believes that, if love is the most powerful thing, he loves Grindelwald. Would Grindelwald technically therefore be shielded by his love? And he was like, "Yeah, I can't do this." 'Cause, to an extent, he can, because you can't look at someone you love and be like, "I'm going to kill them," apart from you.
Well, we know he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't.
We
He
know
did
he
kill him.
didn't.
Because he
Yes,
can't.
yes.
He physically can't.
Yes.
And I think maybe the prophecy plays into that.
Well,
Possibly, it's just...
love we
Dumbledore's.
found.
Speaking of Dumbledore, the tagline in Dumbledore's poster is "Person under watch." What is it?
surveillance.
Under
Under
surveillance, he's under
surveillance.
surveillance.
Under surveillance. So there's a good question
Wizard
there
at
is
large,
whether or
under
not
surveillance,
the Ministry perhaps knows about his connection to Grindelwald and is suspicious of Dumbledore at this point in time, and that's why he's under surveillance, and that's why he can't act, because they'll think he's going to aid Grindelwald, and why he has to act through Newt. And
Yeah,
then
and he
you've
trusts
also
him.
got, and then you've also got the play with the mirror, of course. So
Sure.
we're going to see, and J.K. Rowling has confirmed we're going to see a lot of Grindelwald and Dumbledore in this movie, and
Yeah, but
in
not as
continuing
much.
movies.
Not as much.
Which means we know that Grindelwald must be around for the future movies.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
it
kind
has to be. It makes sense because the stories leading up to, I think, quite obviously, the battle in 1945. I think quite obviously, and it's World War II. I think it's going to be a big part of this as well because they notoriously stopped on the same day.
And you get the Tom Riddle beginning of Tom Riddle's story, where when you get up to those later
this
years,
is
the 1930s,
totally
1940s. Because in 1945, when that goes down, am I right in thinking he's working in Borgin and Burke's at that point?
1945. He should be.
He's working in Borgin and Burke's and travelling the world at that point.
Yeah, around that
If
time.
I remember.
Yeah.
If
timeline
if not, then he's not. So let's do the math here. So he's born in 1926.
Yeah.
Plus 17. That's for someone else.
39.
Thank you.
39. So yeah, that's when he's because
Around
his
those times,
his first job, because we know he got the cup while he was at Borgin and Burke's, and he turned down. Everyone was always surprised because he turned down all these jobs in the ministry for Borgin and Burke's, and we know this is because he wanted to get the Horcruxes now. And it's also said that he travelled, I think, after Borgin and Burke's or
It's
during?
after Borgin and Burke's, like, because everyone was like, "You're so talented," and Slughorn was like, hang on a minute, I've got to do my Slughorn impression. Oh, I've got so many contacts at the ministry. I'll help you out. And he was like, "No, it's cool." And then the next thing they know, he's at Borgin and Burke's.
Yeah.
He can't be no older than 18, 19 when he works for Borgin and Burke's.
Yeah.
I will fact check that. When
But
I
that was so he's
And
18, 19 in what 39, 40, and then he's travelling the world. Who's to say that he doesn't interact with Grindelwald? Because he is at that point. He has his plans to become the next Dark Wizard.
I feel like.
Well, not the next Dark Wizard. He plans to be the greatest. It's
Yeah,
not like
exactly.
it's the successor.
Which means I think he must have some interaction with Grindelwald because he didn't just go
I'm not
join
sure
Grindelwald.
because
He wanted to be better than Grindelwald.
I'd have to reread that scene in Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
Because the movie version.
It's not even in
which
it.
Scene?
The Voldemort visiting Grindelwald in Nuremberg.
It is in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just shut.
Yeah,
It's very short.
It's short.
No, they
and
ruin
it's
it,
not,
and they
it's
ruin
not,
it.
It's not done correctly.
Because in the film,
he's like, of course he has it. Of course he has it. Who do you think has it? And in the movie, he's like, yeah, kill me. I'm not telling you. Big whoop.
no, that's the other way around.
No.
Yeah,
in
sorry.
the
In the book, he's like, big whoop. I don't have it. It sucks to be you.
Which,
And in the
Which
film,
is his last act of defiance.
Speaking of,
it's last act of
he
love.
knows Dumbledore has it. What does that say about the relationship? That even though he defeated him and locked him up in prison all those years, he's still not willing to give Dumbledore up.
Well, I think it's a testament to a great villain because if you have a villain that's just, and
Evil
I'm not
for the
saying,
sake of it.
I'm not saying Voldemort is a bad villain. Sometimes a villain who is just pure evil can work, but a really good villain also has to
one
have
that's
moral
relatable.
choices, and
The scariest villains are the ones you can believe are real.
like Thanos, because you can believe where they're coming from.
Yeah, the way you have that.
you
obviously,
get what Thanos is doing.
Obviously, to an extent, I can't believe Thanos is real because he's a big giant purple dude with some sparkly
Yeah.
lines. But at the same time, yeah, entirely.
Was
The
it
Joker, for example.
Also, speaking of, when you have the relationship between the hero and the villain, stuff like that, the best relationships between heroes and villains are ones that have a history. So if you look at, for example, Doctor Who, the Doctor and the Master, we know for a fact they were childhood friends.
Sure.
And they still, to an extent, have that deep respect and love as friends for each other. But it's one of the most iconic villains of Doctor Who, and I think that's probably why one of the best villains have that bit of humanity and have that relationship with their heroes.
I think it is mentioned that during Grindelwald's time in prison that he felt guilt. I think that's mentioned.
He felt. It said that he felt remorse in Nuremberg.
Which it makes sense because he if you we don't get a lot of him in Fantastic Beasts, the first film.
No.
But from what you take from his speech and what you can take from what we learned about him in Deathly Hallows is, sure, he was kind of a douchebag and he did like to beat up Aberforth, which was, that was fun. But if you hear his speech, he's saying, I just don't want our people to be suffering because of this law. If it's not going to benefit us, then why the heck should we care about them? They started a war with us, right? So it's like...
It's really daft when you think about this because realistically you can also always blame this on America, which is my favourite thing.
Oh yeah.
Because while in Newt mentions it as well, he believes that America has a very medieval approach.
He
calls them backwards.
Yeah, he calls them backwards, which means that in England it's a little bit more accepting, and it has to be quite accepting considering there are already a fair few half-bloods a la Dumbledore. Which entirely makes sense, and I had a point, and then I completely forgot what I was going to.
Oh, that's happened to all of us, I think.
What were we talking about before I started mentioning? Because I was actually having to think about half-bloods.
We were talking about Grindelwald's
remorse.
Grindelwald's remorse.
Is that why he didn't try to escape? because he was like, yeah, I did do these things.
Because we know he
He's
can do
lost.
wandless magic.
Yeah,
He's lost. He's like, I tried it. I gave it a go.
and
I
also
lost, but
because
then we don't know because we don't get
That's
too
what
much
these
of it.
movies are.
I think
This is
also-
what
Quite
these
vague.
movies are showing.
as well, I think we will probably get the fight between Voldemort, Grindelwald, and Dumbledore, either this movie or next
Totally.
movie.
I don't think
It has
it's
to be
this
the
movie.
last one, no?
It has to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I would like.
It's
I would
too
like
much of
it
a
for
time
it to
skip.
be basically. I want the last 2 films to be Infinity War. You get like the big part.
I
of
like that. That was my suggestion.
It was.
Actually,
It was
that the last two
documented.
films, the last 2 films are a split.
And I think
Part one and
it
2.
makes sense because how do you if you're dropping? Look, the second film is called The Crimes of Grindelwald, which to me sounds like.
He's gonna be doing some nasty.
Yeah, it sounds like a middle section to me. It sounds like Empire.
See, I think this sounds like a setup actually, and we're going to get lots of flashback, and it's going to be showing how Grindelwald became the Dark Wizard he is now.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
I remember my entire point. Oh
What's
my
your
god.
point?
Well, so yeah, England's more accepting of half-bloods, and America isn't. America's like
Well, Half-Bloods don't exist in
half-bloods don't
America.
exist. I'm reading Ilvermorny, the backstory of Ilvermorny. Thank you for showing me that on Pottermore. They're very anti-Muggle, and I think realistically, that's what causes this. Because in England, you don't really hide from Muggles. You're not super duper. Obviously, you don't walk out to the post office and go,
Can I have an owl, please?
Can I have 2 owls, some dragon liver, and Expelliarmus?
Yeah.
Sorry, Flipendo. We use proper names here. But obviously, you pop down to your local Tesco's and you pick up your stuff and you're like, you're right.
where are
You
you
know.
going with this?
But in America, that's
No,
just the
finish
bond.
it. Finish the scene.
Finish the scene. Okay,
So
you're
you're a wizard. You've just been to the post office. You've got your owl, your dragon liver, and you flipendo the guy.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
reason apparently.
No. That's not what you. That's what you can't do. But in England, it's more casual. They don't know you're a wizard, but it's not like you're hiding in the
But
shadows.
you have Muggle
Yeah,
neighbours
so-
like that Godric's Hollow basically.
Yeah,
for
so
example.
if I'm like walking around and I go to the corner shop and I see, I don't know, Arkwright.
Sure.
Yes, worth it. I always wait for make sure he gets my quotes. And you're like, oh, you're right, mate. Yeah, I'll just get this. How's the wife? How's the kids? Oh, doing all right. How are yours? There's that level, and you don't feel so suppressed. But in
Yeah.
America, it's you don't interact with them full stop, which probably helps fuel Grindelwald's philosophy.
It might be a good reason as to why he went to America.
It fuels for the greater good.
I've actually not
I
thought
think he
about that
felt-
in that way.
I think he felt that America's policies lined up with his own close enough that as Graves he could influence them enough that they would slowly bring themselves over to his point of view and his way of thinking.
I don't know
I
if
mean, it's not like America's done that before.
I don't think it's they agreed with him. I think it's because a lot of them must be presumably living in a state of fear that he could exploit it.
Well, I think because
But it is a good point. I think that is
they're
definitely why he went to
told
America.
have nothing to do with Muggles. They're told,
Yeah.
and it's one thing to say have nothing to do with Muggles. They're dangerous. To then go to someone saying they're so dangerous, we need to go beyond just ignoring them. We need to get rid of them. That's not that much of a jump.
I have a quick question I'm going to inject. So we all know that J.K. Rowling is very politically charged and sometimes a bit...
She likes her Twitter.
Sometimes she's a
Careful.
bit controversial in her opinions, but everyone has their own opinion, and apparently all of mine are wrong.
Yes.
So far, it's been written that Americans don't like the no-mages, and they're almost treated like some sort of immigrant.
Really, you're
And-
going there?
There isn't so much divide between them, but it feels like there's
What's that? Is
Are
it
you
opinion
really?
o'clock?
a wall between them. I mean, I don't think it's that deep, but at the same time, it's kind of funny because you can't tell me I'm wrong. The parallels are right there. I could have eaten my nuts. doing
Question,
this.
Chloe.
Go.
What makes Queenie so accepting? Why is she so accepting of Jacob? He's a nomad, and surely everyone's been brought up to be like.
Because
Yeah,
I think it's because she's a legitimate.
Yeah.
So I think she hears. Because
Yeah,
no
she
matter
can-
what, she can hear no
She can,
matches.
yeah, you can hear
So
intentions.
she probably
you can,
knows no matches, better than any other witch or wizard because everyone else can't speak to them and can't get to know them. But she can hear what they're thinking, so she gets to know them very well.
Actually, no. I can say that isn't correct because she's never interacted with a nomad, which is why she's so
Excited.
She's like, I've never really talked to
She's
your
a
kind.
really sexy female Arthur Weasley.
I was wondering where you were going.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering where you're going, but I'm not going. However, I will clarify on that. Obviously, because she's a Legilimens and she's very powerful Legilimens with no control over it. So she went into Jacob's memory, and Jacob is a very simple, loving man, and he probably thought pie.
Yeah.
She was like, I like pie
Pie
too. Pie's really nice. You like pie, and then it's just. Jacob is the comic relief character and also something to relate to.
I think he's also
But
the heart. He's the heart.
He is the heart,
He's
which
a
is why he
genuinely
related.
nice person, which I
Yeah.
think Queenie recognised immediately. And let's be honest, she does not get treated well at the ministry. So she's surrounded by all these men who treat her really badly.
They don't treat her really badly.
No,
they
treat-
objectify and leer over her. God, think about the times.
And then she meets Jacob, who just wants to open up a bakery.
Yeah.
I think that it's essentially, look, they've both into this new world with open eyes, and they're like, oh my god, you're just amazing. Let me get some of that pie.
Yeah.
That raises another question. What will Jacob's role be? Because realistically, it's not like he can go and defeat anyone he doesn't know.
I think
magic.
Jacob is still going to remain our eyes into this world.
Yeah. I think
As much as Harry was our eyes, because he's new to the world, we're still learning new things about this world.
He
so
can be in the case feeding all the beasts.
Yes.
That's how they keep him safe.
Yeah, honestly, it does sort of become me and Adam relationship where he's just like feeding all the chickens and I come down for my suitcase and he's like, dinner was ready an hour ago. What time do you call this? What time do you call this? I think Jacob will also be quite crucial to getting Americans to like Muggles, because I'm not calling them that.
yeah, I think
No,
yeah,
no,
he
no,
could
no,
be
no.
No,
when-
they're muggles.
Help
a bridging
bring it through.
point.
Yeah, almost like a bridge between
Because
two worlds.
you already
They're going to be the
saw
first
that.
interracial couple in America. It's going to be
Yeah.
Jacob and Queenie. Presumably, if
Although,
Is this
Queenie
the
isn't-
nomad apartheid?
However, Queenie, because we found out some things from the poster with Queenie as well. Is that what you're going to bring up?
no.
she's
Okay.
crying in this trailer, and one of you guys told me that there's a theory, or is it a thing, that someone's saying that she might switch sides?
Because you don't see her interact with any of the
Yeah,
good
there's-
You
guys.
do in here. You do in this one.
Who?
You see
I
her
remember
running.
seeing her crying.
No, you
Yeah,
we see
that's
her
all I've
and
seen
her
of her in this trailer, and her running across
Yeah,
that thing. That's
with,
all I've seen.
3 people.
Okay. So
Where is it?
That looks like the UK Ministry of Magic there.
yeah, it's the UK Ministry.
So there's her crying. Let's see if I can get it.
Right there, yeah, see, I see
it.
That's Tina and you.
No. If you go
I
back
thought that
slightly,
was later.
if you go
No.
back slightly, and it's really hard to pause. But
I know,
no,
I
it's
know
not.
what you
It's,
mean. I saw the tiles that
yeah,
look like
if you
half-
go, if you
Oh,
look,
and also Quidditch.
yeah, if you
that
look
very
directly between,
Quick flash.
if you,
quick.
so yeah,
That
there's-
breaks my heart.
That's
Yeah, we
sad
wanna see
face.
her sad.
But if you look directly between the two of them when they run, and
Yeah,
they keep
I'm
playing,
trying to get it.
there's a flash of pink.
Yeah.
So she is there.
Yeah, no, that's
but-
awesome. Yeah.
There is another trailer where it doesn't look like it's Queenie.
But it looks like, you know, Lita's dress, which is in the one we first see, the pinky purple
That's
one.
also what I was
That-
thinking. So it's
But
part
we
of
saw
the...
Queenie wearing pink when she's crying as well.
But it's a different shade of pink.
There we go.
No, that's
That
leader.
looks-
That's,
that's
yeah,
Lita.
that's leader.
That's
Yeah,
Lita.
that's
That's
Lita.
leader.
Right.
Different. So we haven't seen Queenie with any other character that we know and love in this trailer. What's that about?
Wasn't there
Also,
a still?
her tagline is "Whereabouts unknown."
What
on
was
the
the point
poster.
you were going to bring up? What was the second point you were going to bring up?
Yes, before
In
I
some
interrupted
form.
you.
Oh, the founder of Ilvermorny, wasn't she married to a nomad?
But didn't he leave her?
Yeah,
And
no.
that's why
The
they
fam-
don't like.
No,
that's
no,
why
no,
They, don't
they
like
didn't.
Muggles.
No, he didn't. He died with her. Their statues still.
Yeah, their statues
are.
Oh,
Their
so
statues
why
that
are they
gave
so-
Ilvermorny.
Because I thought.
It's
I-
only because we recently read up
Yeah,
on.
I reckon it's been
I remember reading this.
I reckon it's a more recent thing because obviously there's a huge Native American influence on how Ilvermorny was constructed and the people that represent there. And I reckon just after a while they were like, you know what, no mages aren't great, and it might have even come from the Native Americans themselves, because obviously America did a really good job of pillaging, salting, and defiling their lands. And if they come and they're like, the non-magic people are destructive, we cannot be around them, you can't blame them. They have got solid evidence, and that might fuel it slightly.
Totally.
Thank God I played Assassin's Creed 3.
I think we should wrap it up here. So does anyone have a final thought going into this? Oh, before I'd say, if you are going to do your Voldemort again, just get the guy who did the young Voldemort in Half-Blood Prince, Ray Fiennes' nephew, Hero something or other, because he's about the same age now, so do that. Go ahead.
I'm actually looking forward to this movie. It's helped really bring the hype back for me. This trailer's probably, because it's probably, the last trailer we're getting before
This is
it's
the
out.
final.
This is the final one. It's done a very good job at summarising everything, giving us enough information to whet our appetite, but at the same time I'm very much looking forward to this, and I assume they're going to a midnight release.
Yeah, we will be going to a midnight release. We're probably going to do a video about that, because that's what we do. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I have loads of questions now that I want answered, and yeah, I can't wait. But I really enjoyed this.
It's left a lot of unanswered questions, and I think that's good because you're going wanting to know more to the cinema, and yeah.
And hopefully we don't learn too much more, because this is the final trailer, but we're still going to get TV spots coming up to the month of November, because that's how they plug it. So please don't drop anything big in the trailers. Just keep it like this, because Kingdom Hearts 3, you've got to stop the trailers now. There's too much going on. Thank you very much.
No, there'll be a ton of stuff.
I'm done with it.
We'll
anyone
talk
want to
about that
plug
later.
something? This man, plug your channel that's going to be starting soon.
I'm going to start a series on things I've missed out due to a crippling addiction to Overwatch. It would be called my single player adventure, and it will hopefully
Is this
be
because
airing.
your internet's so terrible you can only play single players now?
Shut up.
So that's my single player adventure, which you can look forward to
Yep.
sometime this month, maybe next month. Georgia, you
Um,
don't really
I-
social media.
I
Should
don't really do social media much. Well, I have social media, but I don't have any channels as such. But I'm going to be helping you out,
Yeah,
hopefully,
well,
with
you can see her again here.
Comic-Con. So you'll probably see me for Comic-Con. You'll definitely see me for the midnight release of this,
Totally.
because I'm a giant nerd. But yeah, I will just I'll pop up every now and then and
then
have my opinion known.
SSJ, Chloe.
SSJ Chloe, Twitter, YouTube, find me.
All that stuff.
Also, sorry, going to do this. My Twitter is @neverproenough. That's me now.
I have an Instagram, which is... What is my Instagram? Never mind. Ignore me.
Are we done here?
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
We're good.
See you soon.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Cheers. Okay, hopefully this one's a fuck up.
Yeah.
And yes, he's wearing pajamas.
He is.